turning back.
Welcome back to the Lost Boy Scouts podcast.
Welcome. Here
We're
we
back.
are. Another week.
Yeah, the last one was crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, the camper, the happy camper.
Happy camper.
Well, it's kind of cool. I watched it, I listened to it, and it was really kind of like unique for us to do that kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
Me being at Cocoa Beach and you being here.
Right here in the studio.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. It was weird because, you don't know what to expect because I could hear all the noises in the background of where I'm at, right? And I was like, man, is this going to come through? And you're like, nope, not going to even be a little bit because I hear you fine. And I was like, oh, it's so weird.
Yeah.
Technology.
We're getting good at it. We're getting good.
Dude.
We're dang near professionals.
I know. Yeah. We're right there with that whole with the rest of the United States just plugging along.
Yeah.
hoping that Trump doesn't fire me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's such an interesting topic you bring up. It's like they're breaking a lot of stuff right now.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of unknown information. You kind of forget that sometimes you need to just turn over the soil in order for something to grow. Yeah,
you don't know truthfully, do we know the truth?
We don't.
No. Want me to tell you something interesting?
Yeah.
I literally almost retired last night.
Oh, yeah. Right.
This was crazy. At work, and I see this email, of course, that's going around, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of just did a little bit of research. I went to the FAA website, and right on it says, early retirement, here's the rules. And I just start reading it. Yeah. And I'm reading it and I'm like, man, I fall in every one of these categories. Yeah. Every one of these categories. And it made my heart start to pump 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I was thinking man, this is crazy. I literally could turn in this paperwork and be on some sort of early retirement tomorrow, today, in a week or two. I have a couple buddies that are currently going through it. And as I read on more, I was like, oh man, this literally covers me. Mm-hmm. I'm eligible for retirement in December. The rules were as long as you can, as long as your retirement is this such, and I fell into all those categories. And I'm sitting there and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. What's the worst thing that happens? Yeah. I retire. I don't want to retire. And I just come back. Maybe I still have about 9 years left to play with. So I could retire for 2 years, go back to work for the FAA, finish out, another 8 or 9 years if it didn't work out for me. Right.
That's crazy.
And I had made the decision in my mind. I hadn't even discussed it with Misty. Right. She knows that I'm so I'm like, man, there's so many things I'd like to be doing other than this. Air traffic control is amazing. Right? Yeah. And I love it. I love the air traffic part. I hate some of the other bullshit that I have to deal with.
The politics.
But as far as the job, man, it's amazing. It's great people. I have a great group of people that I've been working with for a while, like I've talked about. And I called my buddy over and I was like, dude, read this. And he's like, holy crap. Yeah, this literally, you fall into these categories. Yeah. And then there's the small print. Air traffic control is exempt from this. Oh. Yeah, and I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, you got all excited and you were
for nothing. Oh, dude. I was like, oh, man, I was so bummed out. But like we talked about, this thing is so growing. This thing's organic, right? Yeah. In a couple weeks, man, 2 months, it potentially could be no air traffic controllers. You go and it sucks to be in the limelight right now. Yeah. For air traffic control. It really sucks to be in the aviation limelight. Yeah. With everything that's going on the last couple of days have been wild, and everything is at the forefront. So everybody that knows I'm an air traffic controller is like, what about this? What about this? They want to ask me questions. And it's like, man, if I told you everything that happened, one, you'd be bored as hell. Two, it would take me a lifetime to explain to you what it does. Like we've talked about before, this is not something new to our relationship. Yeah. And I would imagine too, you're somewhat limited to what you can share. Of course.
The thing that has me interested the most is the outdated systems, right? You've got Mr. SpaceX,
Yeah.
can land a rocket back on his thing. Do you really think that like having somebody like that that's so technology focused would help your job, would encourage the best and the brightest? Because you guys have an important job, right?
Sure.
Like controlling the airspace around. And we've seen this year already like enough accidents that you're like, man, it's got you questioning.
You know what's funny, man, is like that's when I think to myself, we live in a simulation, dude.
Right?
Literally, we live in a simulation. This is a simulation. How is it that all this craziness, this bullshit with technology in itself, and the fact of like Elon Musk and all that, right? And all of these aviation things, all of a sudden just start happening, right? Like, come on, like, we live in a simulation.
Who's pulling the strings?
Who's pulling the strings? And I always tell people that, like, bro, come on.
Not to mention like the pictures, like the one yesterday in Toronto.
Dude, that's insane.
Right? And like the amount of footage we have of that is insane.
It's insane.
People getting off the plane, rather than being concerned about their fellow man or themselves, they're recording this shit and putting it on social media. Because they want Delta to pay out, or they want some clout, their few minutes
it's
of fame.
So true. And like, when you see that thing, it's like, bro, it's terrifying, right? It's terrifying.
Right.
But like the way that it happened makes sense to me of like why it flipped. You know, if you don't have a wing and you don't have stability, guess what? It goes somewhere. Like that energy goes somewhere, right? One wing has lift, one doesn't. Guess what? It goes over. And it's terrifying.
Sure.
Right. But sorry, excuse me. I drank a Red Bull and a little bit of a Sprite, and now I'm drinking beer.
The carbonation's getting to you.
And how crazy is it that we're watching these things? And like you said, that's the one thing I thought is like, get out of the goddamn plane.
Right?
Get the fuck out of there. What is wrong with you?
Yes. No, I'm gonna record as I get off. I better make sure this gets on social media.
I'm gonna text it to my friends so that I could be the first person, so CNN can interview me about how crazy this world was. That box on my face is crazy to me.
Yeah, it's it's tracking. It's focused on your eye.
Yeah. Well, sorry, with the new systems that we have.
Yeah, the new technology.
It's like the red. It's like the red light.
It's literally got AI in the camera that's tracking your retina to make sure that we are in focus.
Yeah. When you see that stuff, it terrifies. It terrifies you, right?
Yeah.
And then I think, okay, but one airplane out of thousands of airplanes had an incident.
Yeah.
It's safe.
Yeah, there's like still like a 6 sigma delta, right?
Safe,
like
dude.
0.0000000 like 1%. You know what I mean? Like
I seen today shark attacks down for this year, and I'm thinking if one shark attack is terrifying to me. Right? One shark attack. So if one shark attack happens, it's like that's kind of scary. Oh, it's down. What the fuck is that? What if it's up? That kind of stuff is intriguing. Numbers like that kind of stuff is funny.
It's funny what we choose to focus on.
Agreed.
Where we choose to put our attention.
And if it matters to you, then you are like all in. Right? If it doesn't matter to you, you're like, if we disagree on something, if we're on different sides of something, but you're really, really, really passionate about this, and you're fighting tooth and bone for every little inch of tidbits that you can, and you have all this information, and I have shit information, and you're like, I showed you. But then I'm like, well, I don't really care about that. Right? It's so funny.
That's kind of how I feel like our current political situation is. Like we are so stuck in this two-party system that is just broken.
And it's archaic.
Yeah.
We don't get along, but guess what? If you're on that side, then I hate you.
Right.
If I'm on the side of like, man, I see some good in everything that one of our political party does or both political party does, I see some good, and I'm like, hey, I don't really actually mind that. Yes, it kind of sucks. Yes. Yes, I'm Hispanic. Yes, I have Hispanic bloodlines. And so if you want to deport me, it's like, where are you going to deport me to? I'm American, right? But if you, man, I mean, there is some scariness about that kind of a thing. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
At the end of the day, we want our borders protected, though. We do want our borders protected, and we want Americans to be safe. Like, I want America to be safe. I want America to be feared, right?
Yeah.
but we're not.
Yeah.
That's the truth of the matter is we're not feared.
Yeah.
But I don't want just anybody to influx and to come around here and be able to take over what we have, which is really, really good. We live a really, really good life.
Yeah, I think fundamentally, right, we may not all agree, but this is a system where new ideas can thrive and can grow. And I think, unfortunately, we've gotten so stuck in one way or the other way, and we've villainized one way or the other way. I guess that's why I've kind of never really been political. Like I tend to stay pretty apolitical.
Sure.
I like to listen. Like that doesn't mean I don't form opinions. I don't necessarily express opinions. I just like to kind of like to sit back and say, okay, where am I really going to throw in? What ideals do I really want to throw in with? And I think that's kind of where I'm at with all of this. Like there's a lot of overgrowth, right? There's a lot of, there's a lot in this tree that is our government. If you were to equate it to a tree, and sometimes you need to prune it all off. And I can understand how scary that is for people. The unknown. Our brains thrive on safety and like predictability. And because we don't know how it's going to end, there's a lot of people that feel really unsafe. And I think that's unfortunately, because I think that's really what America should stand for. Safety. It should stand for safety. It should stand for growth. It should potential opportunity, right? Like we want the brightest and best minds running things. We want to welcome in, we are a melting pot, right? Since we were founded as a country. We were founded as a melting pot of ideas. I think you're right. I think we do need to focus on ourselves a little bit more. And I think going through some of those line items, like the whole thing with Ukraine, and you find out all this money that's going to these certain places, and you're just like, you're kind of shocked as John Q. Public to just be like, what has been going on?
Yeah. Where do we have that faucet of money just to open?
Right.
Only for certain things, right?
Right.
I think you and I talked about this, like like people get mad about the education system. It's like, wait a minute. The education system is broken. Yeah. Like it is broken.
Yeah.
It really is broken. There's some things that I'm not comfortable with.
Yeah.
Right. The fact that they forced a vaccination on certain people and then threatened your job if you didn't get it. Yeah. And now then they go, oh, no, we didn't do that. Yeah. No, it was a choice. It's like, what? Yeah, no. It was not a choice. Yeah. They really did force some of that stuff. And so, if I get focused on that, then I get angry. But if I just say, no, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Yeah. I can just have that disagreement. I just don't agree with it. Yeah. Right. I think that there's some things that we need to look at. Yeah. I do. But that's in my own house. Right. Yeah. Yeah. If I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to spend money on whatever the hell I want to. And I don't look at my own house and be like, hey man, maybe I need to cut back on a couple of things to enjoy my life. Right. But guess what? Tyler and Danny work our asses off. Yeah. I mean, I bust my ass. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And my family busts their ass. Your family busts their ass. We bust our ass. Yeah. So I better have some fruits of my labor. Right. Right. And I don't want to be spending $10 for eggs. Right. What the fuck, man? I don't want to spend that much. Yeah. Yeah. It really is. And that's not, that's not to say that like those farmers don't work hard. Our agriculture system, which is also, kind of broken. Okay, if the $10 is going to the farmer, cool. I'm cool with that. But if it's going to the grocery store because they want to up my price, screw you. Yeah, yeah. I'll buy it straight from the farmer. Yeah, yeah. Buy my own chickens. Right? Oh, I've been so tempted to just I think that is the next step for me to have. Yeah, get a little spot. Have a little spot. Have a little spot. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Not to get on that rant. I mean, I get. Yeah. I know this is a platform that we're able to say whatever we want to say and act however we want to act, but there are things that just need to change, Yeah. And if the change is like drastic and we're like, shit, okay, well, at least the door got opened and we can address it. We can all look at it and say, okay, what is good? Yeah. What is good? What is bad? Yeah. We don't get so caught up in the unsafety that you forget to think that there was a lot that those programs that we're doing that was probably good. Right. That doesn't mean that stuff is gone. Yeah, it means that, perhaps we're going to reevaluate how it gets done. Sure. Right. And I think that the same thing as you look at it, they're tearing apart the Department of Education, right? Yeah. I didn't realize the Department of Education was started in this 70s. I'm like, oh,
okay.
Yeah, like taxes itself
Right.
aren't that long.
Right.
You know, like maybe like a less than 100 years ago. I don't know. I'm guessing, but it's not that long that we've been paying taxes. But guess what? You and I, we have to pay taxes.
Yep.
It's not like I can just be like, nah, I'm not paying taxes today.
Right.
Hey, IRS, this year I'm keeping my
done.
money.
Yeah.
I'm keeping everything that I made. I pay. Yeah. Plus, I pay taxes on food. Plus, I pay taxes. Plus, I pay taxes on my taxes.
Yep.
Like what?
Yeah.
Let's fix something. I don't know. Let's change it.
Yeah. I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know what the right answer is.
They don't pay us for that.
Yeah.
Somebody pay us for that.
Yeah. I think the reality is though, is just to not, you know, to relax, to breathe, to realize that like nothing is permanent, right? Nothing is permanent. And if you are afraid, like you have every right to be afraid, but like, let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
I think I have a very privileged opinion because a lot of this stuff hasn't touched me yet. Right. Like
even like for me, it doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
I mean, like March 30th, you know, the government shut down and he's like, yeah, we're shutting down. No, we're shutting down.
Yeah.
That's going to suck for me.
Yeah.
It really is because it means no paycheck for me.
Yeah.
Does it mean that I'm going to have to move out of my house and stop living? No, it just means that, guess what? It sucks for me. I may have to dip really hard into my savings.
Yeah.
And not everybody has that ability, Tyler.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like a lot of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, unfortunately. So let's fix that.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that we should all have the same, you know, income availability, but we should all have the same thing. We should be able to all have the same ability, right?
Right.
And
well, it's equal opportunity, not equal outcome.
Agreed.
Right. Like, I think that's the real people lose sight on.
Yeah,
they think equal opportunity equates to equal outcome.
I agree.
But that's not true. That's not how life works.
Yeah. And output equals, you know, what you put out is you're going to get a little bit more coming in, right?
Right.
And luckily for me, I have other avenues of income, right? But there are people that aren't, and I worry about that. You know, I worry about people at my work that are terrified. They are terrified. They're terrified of losing their job.
Because you still would have to go to work. You guys are still going to be sad.
Yeah, you still go. But like if he starts to really lay off, I mean, you know, if things start to move on and people start to lose their job, there's people that are scared of that. They're really scared of losing their job. And it's probably because they're the sole provider of their family. Right. And this is what they invested their life in, is air traffic control, right?
Yeah.
And so I worry about those guys. You know, I do. I worry about, like, man, what's it going to look like for them, you know, in a little while. But I also think, and turn the pillow over, it's a little colder on the other side. It's okay.
It is. It will. I think at the end of the day, it will be okay.
Always.
It will be okay.
It always does, right?
Just because we're discovering all this money doesn't mean that money's necessarily going away right now.
Agreed.
Right. If anything, maybe that means we got a little bit more to invest in ourselves.
Yeah.
And if we can't invest in ourselves, who can we invest in?
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Right.
Yeah, and
it sure isn't a Sesame Street parody for Iraq. I mean. Sorry, Iraq.
Yeah. Well, and
just overdub the one we already do. Like, come on.
Exactly. But and how do you teach your kids to not panic in situations like this? That's what I think about. Is like I tell my kids, like, don't panic.
Mm-hmm.
Go to work. Go have fun. Go play. Go live your life like as if there's no tomorrow, because there is no. It's not guaranteed.
Nothing's guaranteed.
Right. It's really not. So. The reality of our life is that we're living to die. Like we're actually dying, right? Yeah. But we can live in between the dashes,
right?
Or the dashes where we, you know.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I think for me, I've been reading this incredible novel, and it's just really opened my eyes to, like, as a man, we really have two paths. We have a path that, like, kind of brings us down the road of discipline, like picking a purpose in life and living out that purpose and striving for that purpose and dedicating and disciplining yourself for that purpose, or, you know, many purposes, like, as it evolves. And then there's kind of this path of pleasure. And I think we are so often we are presented this path of pleasure. Right. Like we should just be coasting. Things should just be handed to us. We are entitled to these things. So if you've never picked up the book Musashi, it was written in the 30s. I have to pick up the book to see the title of the cover, who wrote it. But it was written in the 30s, and it's written about two friends who, in feudal Japan, basically they go off to war at 17. It starts like right after they finish this great battle, and they're both kind of injured. And then they get to a point where they go down these two different paths. One goes down this path of discipline, and the other goes down this path of pleasure. And the like there is the playbook feels so similar, right? Like the path of pleasure. The gentleman hooks up with an older woman. He's hanging out with this older woman who's kind of providing for him. Then he's not happy. He's not satisfied. He wants more, but he's not really willing to put in the work. So he'll take shortcuts. Like he'll pretend to be somebody, and that blows up in his face. And then the other friend, Musashi, he's dedicated to the way of the sword. He wants to become the greatest swordsman in Japan. And so he dedicates himself to that, almost to his detriment, to the fact that he doesn't have very many close relationships that he's close with. But his path of discipline offers him so much more opportunity, natural opportunity as he becomes dedicated to his purpose. And I think that's, I was just thinking about my son and my children, and like, how do you teach that discipline? How do you teach that discipline to them, or at least show them, like when we live in this world of comfort, right? When they can watch YouTube and it just auto plays episode after episode of brain rot, like how do we show them that, like, yeah, why don't you find something to focus on?
Yeah. Give yourself some attention.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's where everybody's really struggling right now, in my opinion, because, quick fulfillment is at your fingertips. Right. Quick fulfillment, quick pleasures, quick things. Porn.
Thank you, marketing.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's how we market things. If you don't have this, your life is incomplete.
Yeah. You need the new iPhone.
Yeah.
All this new stuff.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, if it's just like, even like leading by example anymore is not really working, because even ourselves tend to like look down at our phone a little too much. Right. And so, the answer is, I don't know what the answer is.
Right.
It's just a matter of like, can you find direction on your own,
right,
without, me having to force you to do it?
Yeah.
Because at some point, somebody's going to force you to do it, right? As a young adult. And do you have the wherewithal to fall back on the things that I've given you, and the path, and the instillment of values and core values and foundation? Did it work?
Yeah.
Because somebody's going to come calling.
Yeah.
And you're right. Especially like, I wish I could remember that quote where it says like, easy times or hard times make hard men. Yeah. That whole quote, that whole thing, and it ends up become easy time make easy men, because you're right. Like if I don't have to struggle, right, it makes me soft. Yeah. And if my kids don't have to struggle, guess what? They become soft.
They become soft.
And if you do have two paths, you really do have two paths in life, and whichever path you pick is going to be the one that you have to be careful with. Yeah, for sure.
I think too, I look back at like, I wish I would have learned to study just a little bit better. And I think part of that is like, I did not fit into how the public school system worked. My, whatever, call it neurodivergence, my lack of attention span, my ADD, whatever you want to call it. Like I didn't mesh with how things were being taught. Right. I didn't understand how what I was learning was applicable to me at that particular time. Right. When you give somebody a math problem and it, they aren't disciplined into just doing the math problem because that's what they have to do. You kind of need to show them, why is this of value, so apply it to real life. Like, okay, take that math problem and now let's apply it to you, how you balance your checking book, sure, or your, how you will make money and calculating, whatever your yearly earnings or whatever like sure. that. And because I didn't have that discipline, I'm finding now, as I go through college, as I progress down this road of education and my master's degree, that I'm having to pick up, how do I better discipline myself to, to stay focused, to turn in my assignments, make sure. And that's something I wish I would have learned much younger. Sure. Right. And what hindsight is always 2020 or whatever this is.
Yeah. But, and I think also, just your demographics of like where you were at in your life. You know, like we both come from, for all intents and purposes, broken homes, right? Yeah. Where for a lot of times we were probably just happy to be alive and not struggling, you know, you already went through so many struggles. Like for myself, I know that, my life was not perfect when I was younger, but I'm not winning the award of the worst childhood.
Right.
You know, I'm not, because it could have been worse for me, you know, sure. and you too, but there are skill sets that I just didn't pick up when I was a kid that I think, man, I didn't pass those on to my kids either because I didn't have them as a kid. So now as an adult, it's hard for me to teach those skill sets to my kids because I didn't have them. Right. I don't have the skill set, right? Yeah. To sit down and learn something new, new, to fail, do 6 years of failure. I mean, man, I don't have that ability. Yeah. I do, you know, but I tell my kids, it's okay to fail. Yeah. It's okay to fail. But inside I'm like, fuck, I hate failing. Yeah, you know, I hate failing. So how do I teach that? I don't know. I don't know how to do that. But I definitely can teach you how to be hard. Yeah. You know, I could teach you that, life is tough. Shut up. Who cares? Yeah. You know? Everybody's going to have a sob story. Everybody has a sob story. Everybody has the toughest life. Everybody has the toughest time that they're going through right now. Yeah. And the concept of like, nobody's going to come save you. Nobody is. Yeah. You know, they'll offer you the next piece of anesthesia, right? Whether it's the next new app, the new social media, whatever. Like you need to determine what's right for you. Yeah. And what's that like? What's that story where the guy's drowning and a boat comes and boat comes and he's like, "Hey, do you need some help?" He's, "No, I'm okay. I'm praying. I'm praying. You know, I'm praying for God." And somebody comes by, "Hey, you want this life raft?" No, I'm praying, and then gets to heaven. He's like, "What the hell, God? I can't." And he's like, "I sent you a couple things." You know, you know, you just don't see it in the moment. And I think that's part of what we're going through with like what you're talking about is like, we just may not see how in the moment how to help our kids. Right. But if we live our life with purpose, then maybe they'll catch it on. Yeah. Or if your kids see you studying, you know, eventually they learn, right? Eventually they learn. I know when Tristan was a couple of years ago, we struggled so hard about him being follow through. Yeah. And I was like, dude, what in the world can I do to ensure that you have follow through, that you wake up to your alarm, that you like get your ass up and go to work, that you don't like call out every day. And then all of a sudden, like I hear these stories of like, no, he's doing a lot better. And I'm thinking, holy shit, is he? You know, is he doing a lot better? Yeah. But his friends say, yeah, he's doing a lot better. Like he's doing a lot better. And his work ethic is a lot. Like I don't have to wake him up. Yeah. He gets off at 1 o'clock in the morning sometimes. He makes it home. And I hear him downstairs playing his video games or talking to his friends. And I'm like, this dude has to be up at 5:30. 5:30, I hear him leave. And I'm like, he must have learned something. Yeah. You know? And maybe it's just consistency. So I guess that comes back to passion, right? Like had I in high school had things that I was passionate about that really truly interested me, would I have gained those skills? Yeah, probably. And I think, yes, I think I would as I got to the point from moving on from high school to slowly getting through college, right? Like as I got more focused into this is what interests me, this is where I'm going to put my effort and focus and to build a career for myself. I found that I was anxious. Like I'm excited. Like I'm excited to go read my assignment. Yeah. I want to know what kind of skills I can learn about poking around in somebody's head. Right. Yeah. And so, you know, helping them find, I think this is why having activities that they like, and like sports or wrestling or lacrosse or playing the guitar, playing an instrument, or if you allow them these opportunities to do something that they enjoy, then they will see what it's like to put in a repetitive effort. Yeah, I agree. They'll build those habits of you know, resilience and doing things that are hard and doing things when they don't want to, because that's where discipline comes in. You start, you know, when you are doing something that you don't want to do, but you know you have to do it, or you know, because you enjoy doing it. Like I'm sure you guys had early wrestling practices or late wrestling practices. Yeah, for sure. You love to wrestle, but do you really love to wrestle enough to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning? Right. Yeah, you're right. You know, and you hate those days, but those days are really what mold you. Yeah, you're right.
Those days are what really what shape you and teach you that slowly over time, that discipline.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think like that you may like just having a passion for it may get you past some of those really hard moments, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's such a good insight for myself included. Like I do get excited about certain things, and my kids see me excited about certain things. So we had state wrestling over the last week, and it was 5 days of state wrestling. It was really unfortunate what they did to the kids. I hope they change it next year, because the girls got the shit end of the stick, because all of the officials had, by the time the girls started on Friday, that's 4 days of intense officiating from 8 o'clock in the morning till sometimes 11 o'clock at night. That was going that late, right? And by the time
paid like what, $1 per match or whatever.
I can't believe they're paid. I can't imagine they're getting paid very well. I mean, maybe they do it because they love it, right?
Right.
And by the time the girls got there, they had 4 classifications. Yeah, 4 classifications in one arena, one tournament. It was, and they, the tournament directors ran it very well. But by the end of the 5th of that Saturday, no, that's 6 days. 6 days of wrestling. On Saturday was the last day. Tyler, the officiating was horrendous.
They're just done.
Horrendous. And you can't approach the desk like, you can't approach the official like you used to, because that they said they'll kick you out of the tournament. And you're like, you can't kick me out of the tournament. But I was listening to Tristan coach a couple times, and it made me so happy what he was saying and how he was doing it, because he was so passionate. And he had been there. He had gone there Tuesday, Wednesday. Tuesday, Wednesday. Didn't go Thursday. Didn't go Friday, but then was back Saturday. So he had been there a lot as well, getting up early, and he was working in between those things. So he was like, he felt that pinch of like, shit, man, I am getting my ass kicked. But he was saying some really, really cool things, and we had some really cool moments with our girls on the mat. Nothing to take away from the boys. The boys just need to be tougher. They just need to get tougher. They really need to get tougher. And we need to hold some more accountability with our boys, and be a little bit more direct with them. Because how I talk to those girls, some of those boys would break. Yeah. But I was like, I would get after those girls, and they performed. They ended up finishing 16th out of 24 teams with 2 girls.
Wow.
2 girls, 16th out of 24 teams.
That's great.
They didn't hit the bottom of the barrel. They took 16th out of 24 teams. Both of them had moments that literally I had tears in my eyes because of the way that they wrestled and the way that they did things. They conducted themselves. They're so tough. They are willing to rip their head off. They're willing to rip their arm off. They're willing to do whatever it takes in order to succeed in the goals that they had. Our 125-pounder pinned the number 1 girl in the bracket on the backside for the medals. If one person medals, one person goes home. She pinned that girl in there. She did not think she was going to, but she did. It was amazing. And then our 130-pounder, she was down 9-1 in the quarterfinals and ended up coming back and pinning that girl to go to the semifinals, which guarantees her a medal, right?
Oh, wow.
The storyline was amazing, and we had so many people coming up to us and like, man, your girls are tough. Man, your girls are tough. Your girls are so tough. And it was like, there is that ability to find passion, to find something that you really, really care about, and see through all the bullshit and come out on top. Right. Yeah. And I think that we have that ability as humans. It just takes the discipline and the wherewithal to be like, I'm going to surround myself around Tyler, because Tyler's struggling just like me. He's a man who has to wake up every day and go to a job that he may not care about. But man, when we get together like this, we're passionate as shit. Yeah. And we have such a good time. And I look so forward to seeing you in these moments, because we don't get to see each other as much as we did before because of job schedule and like wrestling and all the other bullshit that comes along. But then you have it and you're like, dude, this is amazing. Yeah. Right. I'll put all my efforts into this, and I'll do whatever it takes to come in this environment and talk and chat and shoot the shit and hear about your stories and hear about mine. And our kids will benefit from that, because in 20, 30 years, our grandkids are going to be able to hear these podcasts of their people and be like, man, our grandpas were fucking badasses. You know?
Yeah.
We'll still be on the mats kicking ass on the jiu-jitsu mat.
Right? I want to go back to like, what are those young women? What is their why?
Both of those girls, their passion to prove how tough they are overcomes everything.
Yeah.
Overcomes everything. Abby is the 125 pounder. She's a senior. And her and I relationship, because she just doesn't trust people quickly, like it did not start off good.
Yeah.
But it has developed into such a good relationship where I tell her if it's going to be a tough match, I'm like, hey, no matter what, no emotions, whether you win or lose, doesn't matter. No emotions till we go into the back, and then we'll have whatever emotions we need to have, but we do not. And she loves that. She's like, yeah, I'm not showing any emotion. She gets up, she stands up. If it's a loss, we go in the back, and I know there's going to be big crocodile tears. If it's a win, I know it's going to be like excited crocodile tears because she holds it together.
Yeah.
And she literally will not get pinned.
Yeah.
She will do whatever it takes. She will do whatever it takes to not get pinned. Whatever it takes. It doesn't matter. She was on her back one time for 2 minutes and just she did whatever it took to not get pinned.
Wow.
And she's so mentally tough, but her drive is to prove how tough she is.
Wow.
And it's an inner thing that like she struggles with.
Yeah.
To prove how tough she is. Because if she loses, she's super hard on herself.
Yeah.
And my job is to always like direct them kids towards like positive energy because there's always another match.
Yeah.
You have to gather your shit right away. You have to gather yourself right away. If you win, cool. Doesn't matter. Let's move on. If you lose, you better get your shit together because if you lose again, that's it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then Noah is she's the 130 pounder. She's also a senior, and her and I have been coach athlete for 9 years through jiu-jitsu and wrestling. And her drive is also just to prove like that she's the toughest.
Wow.
That she's super, super tough. And she's a little arrogant. She's a little mean and so driven. I mean, she's the most driven person I've ever been around. Driven. Everything matters. Like if you were there and you asked her a question, she would analyze it as if you were interviewing her. So she would not just answer right away. She would analyze the question and then formulate a response in a way that she thought that you were like interviewing her or gauging her through a really weird. It's a really weird personality. Super, super smart.
Yeah.
Cares to have the highest ACT score in the school. Cares that she got all of her extracurricular activity and her weighted GPA is high. She's number 30 in her class.
Wow.
And that stuff matters to her. So when you're on the mat, she's competitive like that. Yeah. Super competitive.
I think that's good. That competitive spirit is really something that like I would want that for my children.
Yeah. You can see it, right? You can see it sometimes. Like both my boys are super competitive.
Yeah.
Like uber competitive. I mean, you could see Tristan, like if you get it over on Tristan, if you do something on Tristan and you get one over on him, he's probably coming 100 miles an hour at you to right the level of playing field. Were you competitive like that?
I think I was, and maybe not always the right way. I remember there were a few incidents on the lacrosse field where I thought I was better than I was. And it took me a lot of time and a lot of self-reflection to like understand that. A lot of times when I was probably a touch more violent than I needed to be.
Sure.
Lacrosse, hockey, wrestling, they're contact sports, right? There's like a lot of bravado, there's a lot of ego. I didn't realize how much I needed to separate from my ego. Oh. How much my ego is actually getting in the way from me really. Yeah. Like ego versus humility, right? Like if my ego is too big, then there's always going to be somebody that's bigger. And, I remember my senior year, we were playing, Cherry Creek High School in the, semifinal. and Cherry Creek's a much bigger school, much longer storied program. And I was playing against a D1 recruit defenseman for football. And like he knocked me out cold. I thought I was getting one over on him, and I literally woke up on the sideline, like
Really?
just knocked out cold.
Dang.
And that's it. Like, had I been a little bit more humble, had I been a little bit more field vision, like I probably wouldn't. I would have had, I wouldn't have gotten knocked out. I don't think I would have taken the hit that I took because I was trying to prove something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What was your take on the U.S. hockey versus Canada? Did you see this?
Yeah. I've been following. I've been
3
asking.
seconds. Dude, they like the whistle blows, drop the puck, throw their gloves down, and start fighting.
Right. Well, so that stems from they booed the national anthem.
No.
Yeah.
I literally was watching this like, what the crap are these guys?
Yeah.
Just
so
fighting.
Hockey, hockey is Canada's sport. Interestingly enough, it's not their national sport. That'd be lacrosse. But hockey, they care about. They feel like they dominate that in sport. It's been 16 years since these two teams have played each other. And so there is a pretty big rivalry between these two teams. And it's going to be very interesting because one, this is an NHL thing. This is all put on by the NHL. This is called the Four Nations Tournament. This is that instead of doing like a quote unquote Pro Bowl or a All-Star game, this is what they're doing. They've taken these four teams.
Who is it?
It's
USA.
It's USA, Canada, Finland, and Sweden.
Oh,
this year. Those are the four teams they brought in. And so that we have not beat Canada. I mean, we lost to them in the Olympics, in 16 years ago when we played, we lost, right? But we get out there and speaking of all this emotion, they have a man from the Canadian Air Force sing the national anthem, and the crowd in Canada starts booing the national anthem.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Starts booing the national anthem. So they open the game.
Plus we have tariffs again. Like there's tariffs and shit going on, right?
Potentially, right? Except for Trump announced, I guess, just recently that he's only going to tariff countries that tariff us.
Okay.
So they're only going to be reciprocal tariffs. And I don't know if that means Canada or not. Yeah. But yeah, they boo us in 3 fights in 9 seconds.
It was insane.
The United States, I mean, we've worked really hard. We've got a guy from Arizona on this team, right? Like that's where hockey has grown from in this state. We are becoming much better than we used to be.
3-1, like
3-1.
United States won 3-1, right?
Yeah.
Did they lose yesterday?
No, they play Thursday.
Oh,
this is where I'm going to be fascinated. I'm going to watch this game. So they're changing locations. So we were in Canada for that game, round 1. We punched our ticket straight to the final. We have to play Canada again in the final.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
They're playing at the TD Center in Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, shit.
Right?
Oh, man. That's as American as you can get.
Right? Like I'm thinking Boston is already known as some of the worst sports fans in history.
Yeah.
Like, yes, these are all pros. Yes, they've all played on this ice before. But have they played on this ice post their country booing us,
dude? Right.
So it's going to be a bit of a war.
What a crazy time! Like it was fun to watch. Like just to watch those dudes throw their gloves down and like,
yep.
Why? So my question is they let them like throw punches, but then when they fall to the ground, they stop it.
Yeah.
Why?
That's kind of just the unwritten rule of hockey.
Okay, that's enough.
Once it's on the ground, it's
there's
done.
sharp stuff around there.
Yeah. They don't want anybody getting slammed, I guess. I don't know. I'm learning more about hockey being at the rink.
Okay.
And so I asked these questions in the team chat.
Yeah.
In our, because we got a couple guys that play hockey. Dearson's pretty big hockey guy. Howlett's a pretty big hockey guy. So I've been asking these questions, but I think there is
apparently the hockey moms love you.
Oh my gosh, we can talk about that.
Dude, the hockey moms love you.
I am so frustrated with that.
The hockey moms love Tyler. They love him.
It's becoming a problem.
Dude, you're good looking. I was going to tell you.
I don't doubt it.
I really like your haircut.
Thank you.
I really enjoy.
I ditched the mullet because my head felt so fat.
What the crap, dude?
I was like, my head just felt too fat.
I liked it. I liked it. I seen it on Sunday. I was going to tell you. I was looking good.
Yeah, thank you.
She got a good smile.
I know.
Good eyes, good hair. Those hockey moms,
it's become a real problem. So there's a rumor that I'm apparently sleeping with a few of them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sleeping with any of them.
Yeah.
Because the problem is
podcaster, good looking. Yeah. Guys got his shit together.
I hope they all listen to this. None of them are attractive enough for me to.
Don't listen to him. He's available.
None of them meet the standard. None of them meet the standard. I'm not that desperate
Tyler.
yet. I'm not that desperate yet.
Funny.
But yeah, I been trying to be a little bit more social at the rink, and I've started talking to some of the, because they're always there, right? Sure. So and there's a couple team managers that I've just started talking to more, because the team manager is always coming up and asking questions. And
Are you single? My friend wants to know.
My friend wants to know. Yeah, so it's become they are bored house moms, some of whom are single and don't have a whole lot going on. So
that's going to be the next B-sides, is Tyler telling some stories about hockey moms.
These hockey moms.
Dude.
It's become a problem.
What do you got coming up?
Oh man, nothing. I'm just begging for summer to show up.
Dude, that snowstorms are crazy the last couple of days. We went from nothing to holy crap.
Yeah.
We went from like everybody being afraid of the water to being like almost 95% of our average, which is crazy.
Yeah, I'm just training, prepping for spring break at the end of March.
Yeah.
We're going to head out of town. I'm going to take the kids back down to Durango, show them where we used to hang out.
Sick.
Little road trip. I'm just training right now. Training in school. That's all I've got going on. Those are my focuses.
Yeah.
A little bit of work. What about you? What's going on in your
Mexico? World? I leave Mexico on Thursday.
Ooh.
We're there for almost 10 days, I think.
Oh, so
10
jealous.
days. Yeah. We're excited. We're ready.
You going back to the same resort you always go to?
We always go to. Yeah. Go see my compa Arturo, Alfredo, a couple of the other guys that we hang out with.
It's very Italian names for.
I know. That's all right, man. They're as Mexican as you can come. Southern Mexicans. Yeah,
well, I guess Arturo.
We start. Let's see here. We started to plan summer camp. So summer camp is going to happen. I think the dates are about the same time. July 18th, 19th, and 20th. I think is the dates around there.
Nice.
Super fights will be on Friday. Starting to put that together, so I'll have that. Gonna get the bus out, start working. I got some guy was on Facebook saying, "Hey, I'm looking to take pictures of some vehicles, and if you have anything vintage or you think." I sent him a picture of the bus, and he was like, instantly blew me up. Of like, yeah, I want to record, I want to film, I want to take pictures of that. Yeah, I'll do whatever it takes to get pictures of that bus. So that's kind of cool.
That's neat.
And then spring what's just considered postseason wrestling starts the 26th for Park City, and all of the other clubs around here will start going on. So we'll hit wrestling hard again and training. Man, I had such a cool conversation with Mike, and he taught some self-defense stuff today. And he had such cool concepts and such cool insight to self-defense, and why like self-defense matters so much, and how you can formulate your game with self-defense moves and have like a self-defense mindset while you're training sport jiu-jitsu, which is what we consider our self-training. And it was such a fun training. And from camp, I took a lot of like slow down, be a little bit more open to like letting you play your game and help you navigate some waters of like, if you tap me, like it's cool. Like, for a long time, like I know for a fact that I can, if I don't want you to tap me for 3 minutes, you ain't tapping me for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
If I want to get on top and beat you up for 3 minutes, I can beat you up on top on most everybody. But there's also that idea of like, let's be good practice partners and let you work. And if you catch me, cool. Like, let's just move on. It's funny because I think that I have the the personality or the mindset of people that if they tap me, then they better be prepared because I'm probably coming 100 miles at you, and I want to change that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like today, I just kind of played around. We played around with some things, and I just was. I think it's catching everybody off guard, like how cool, how mellow I'm being. But
yeah,
if I need to get on top, if I need to teach you a lesson, I will.
Yeah.
I just don't need to right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
My game is. I'm so confident in my game right now, and so confident in how I train that it's okay to like open up with other areas.
Yeah.
And Mike talked a lot about that today, and it was really a full fun group. I trained with Trip, and I don't know, man. That kid is insane. Like how fast he levels up just from the camp. He was doing things from the camp that I was like, how did you remember that?
Right.
And he just puts it into his game, and he did a couple things to me today that I was like, I just got to be 20 again, to have that ability to just see things and be able to do them like instantly,
and be 20 again.
Yeah, you love it. You love that kind of a thing. So, yeah. I mean, those kind of things I appreciate today. Like, I was just looking so forward to like, I feel like I have vomited out of the mouth because I hadn't podcasted for a while, and I have so many thoughts in my head, about things. So I appreciate it today.
No, I appreciate you today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll always be at Park City Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu is growing in the Wasatch Valley.
Yeah.
Exciting announcements if you follow our crew that we're expanding, and congrats to everybody involved with that.
I agree. So, yeah. And those guys that are moving on, or that idea, like I support everything that's happening. Nothing changes for me. Nothing changes for me at all. No. I'm excited for what's happening. I'm excited for to be a part of the Pedro Sauer Association. I'm excited to be, lineage of Mike Diaz and have that ability to be like, I'm Mike. When Mike says, "Oh, this is my guy Danny," it's like, oh, dude, you feel like so proud that your chest is like pumped up, Yeah. And so, it's amazing time that we're going in right now, and I think that like it's only going to help. Yeah. Help everything, help our ideas, and help grow the sport and grow this passion that we have for each other.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Well, until next time.
Yeah.
Cheers, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Cheers.
Rise up, don't turn it back.